All right, hello everyone, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. I'm John Phillip, Festival Director, and we are excited to chat today about acting, right? So I'm going to pass it over to our moderators and get this thing started.
Hi everyone, I'm Shreya. Thanks for being here at the Big Apple Film Festival. I'm going to pass it along to my co-moderator.
Hi, my name is Julian Santos. I'm a Bronx-based director and producer, and I'm excited to talk to some actors.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Vargas. I am an actor, producer, and writer of my short film Bland, which premiered on Monday here at the Big Apple Film Festival.
Hello everyone, my name is Dharmendra and I'm an actor. And recently I acted in Durham, which is premiering next month, I think on 10th. And I'm glad and very happy to share my experience so far in my acting journey.
Hi everyone, my name is Harsh. I'm the filmmaker, director, and actor in Dharam, and I'm happy to be here.
Great, thank you guys so much for introducing yourselves. Our first question is, can you talk a little bit about what you've learned so far in your acting journeys, as well as how you reached this point in your career? Whoever wants to go first.
I recently trained at the William Esper Studio, where I learned the Meisner technique. I'll say that was probably the best move I've made so far in my career. Learning that technique made me really confident in my abilities, and I think the most important thing about acting, I would say, is to just be yourself, breathe, stay in the moment, and respond to what's going on in front of you.
So I was actually a software engineer in India. I worked 2 years as a software developer. And I was doing theater from my college time, and I always wanted to pursue it. But in India, it's very hard, especially if you belong to a middle-class family. So it was a hard choice for me to make, before college. So after college, I decided I'll save some money and then I'll go to some acting school. And then I joined in Strasberg. I studied method acting for 2 years there. And yeah, then it has been amazing because when you go to a film school or acting school, you meet similar-minded people. So it also helps you to build your ideas or your career in a way. And then you share your ideas. So it's been amazing so far. I'm looking forward to more amazing things.
So the question was, how did your acting journey start, right?
It was like what you've learned so far.
What you learned so far,
yeah,
correct.
And like how you reached your
Yes.
career.
So I have been acting for almost 7 years now, 7, 8 years. I've worked with various people, different mentors, different people, different techniques. And my journey so far has been that I feel that, as Cynthia said, every actor has to respect the individuality they have, and that their superpower is basically there is nobody else like them. Not that they can play different characters, which I think everybody can do, but the superpower that every one of us has is that we have our own individuality that cannot be copied, and what we can bring to the role from our experience, from our life experience, cannot be replicated. And that's what I've learned so far, and I think that you have all these techniques, be it Meisner, Strasberg, Adler, Uta Hagen, Stanislavski, and all that. They all say the same thing: to be yourself, to be very relaxed when you act, and to believe in your work and your individuality. So that's the big core lesson I have had. And regarding techniques, I respect all of them equally, but again, it comes to the core where I feel like every actor has their own method to get to the result where they want to be. And if you feel like you want to learn some techniques and go to a school, it's the best thing you can ever do as an actor, because as Dharmendra said, like-minded people help each other create and learn even faster than you would do on your own journey just by yourself.
Thank you, everyone, for such candid answers so far. I guess I just want to move along the conversation, and you've already touched on this, but I want to ask, what are some of the challenges that you face as an actor, and the limitations that you almost feel like are put upon you by others? Feel free to speak freely.
For me, I'd say when you start as an actor, you're not gonna see money, right? You're gonna see it for a long time, so you really have to be passionate and patient in the process. And for me, that was difficult because I was a college student, a bachelor's in psychology, and when I graduated college at the City College of New York, I was like, okay, what am I doing with my life? Am I gonna pursue a career in psychology, social work? So I did do that. Like I started working full time, and I put a pause on acting, and I said, okay, maybe that's not the route I'm meant to go in. I need to get on my feet and move out of my mom's house. So it was a struggle at first, but then I always had like this kind of feeling of I'm not happy where I am. I shouldn't be like working at a desk, answering emails and phone calls. Yeah, it was great work that I was doing. I was helping the community and everything. But there was still this desire to go after acting. So I decided I'm gonna go back to school and I'm gonna train. And then I was lucky enough to find a remote job. So now I'm more flexible and able to pursue what I love. So I think just that, like, having to find a way to find a job that's flexible, that you're not like dying and miserable from like 9 to 5, and that you're still able to get these auditions and do the work.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenges for any actor or any filmmakers or any person who wants to pursue entertainment things is money, as Cynthia said. So first of all, if you want to become an actor or you want to choose a career in filmmaking or in any scenario where you don't get money, like paychecks every week, never be shy about doing any jobs. Just let your ego go, be ready, because you chose this path. So just make sure that you're having enough money, but at the same time, don't end up spending all your week, or entire week, or 7 days on doing the part-time jobs. Make sure that you do audition every week, try to do it every week. And it might be paid, unpaid, or it doesn't matter. In the beginning, the actor's primary job is to audition, is what I've been taught in the beginning of my learnings. So, like in the past 2 years, I have auditioned, like in my laptop, I have more than 300 auditions recorded. And I've done so many short films, and I'm very grateful for that because, like, suppose I'm doing part-time jobs, but that's not what I want to pursue, right? That's not my career. I want to become an actor. So I don't want to lose that touch of playing different characters. It doesn't matter if it's not in a big film set, but you're still playing different characters. When you audition, that means you are playing the characters. It's a big advantage if you try to audition every week as much as you can. So, yeah.
The biggest difficulty, other than as you guys said about the money, yes. For me, the second most difficult thing was figuring out how to do this thing called acting and be good at it, and that's what took most of my time and a lot of years, as I was very experimental, where to learn, who to learn from, and what to learn. So what I felt works best, and that's what I tell my students where I teach acting now. So I tell them, take everything in, wherever you go, whoever tells you something to practice or try, just take it in, give it a try for a few months. If it doesn't work for you, fine. Whatever you can take, whatever you can keep in, keep it, and throw everything else out. That's what I did. That's why I kept learning for 6 years. I'm still learning. I'm still going to classes. I'm still working with different mentors. And I'm trying to get as much as I can in terms of things that I can do more as an actor when I reach for a role. Other than, yes, the money thing, it used to be a big problem when I just started out, but then I learned, being an independent artist, especially when you're just starting to audition, it's just like running a business. So you have to market yourself, you have to support yourself. It's a loss-making business in the beginning, and you're going to make huge losses for the first year or two. But if you keep at it, and if you know that, you're doing the work, someday it's going to give you the returns. It's all about patience.
Thank you so much for your lovely answers. We just have one more question before we open it up to the audience. And this is something you've kind of already touched upon, but if you have one last piece of advice to give any aspiring actor, what would it be and why?
Never stop training. Find a good teacher and keep training. I think that's pretty much it.
I think one advice in general that works for everyone, I think, just be kind to everyone you know, and just be careful about your words, and be kind to yourself as well. Don't be too harsh. Like suppose I'm not saying that don't capture goals high, keep those highs, but like suppose you want to do, you said you want to audition 10 auditions in a week, but you end up doing only 3. But don't say that you failed. At least you did 3, right? So just be kind to yourself and push as much as you can. Never let it go, and be kind to everyone around you.
Enjoy rejections. That's the one advice. Be ready. Everybody's going to reject you. Everybody's going to say it's not going to happen. Everybody's going to say you're bad. So start enjoying that. Keep work. Again, with the rejection, same thing. Take in whatever you feel was true. Once you go back home, once you feel, okay, that's the feedback I got from the casting director, that blah, blah, blah. If you really feel to the core that that's true, then work on it. If you feel that was just a bias or that was just something that they were looking for, but that's not who I am, then move on. So be open completely to take rejections. That's my best advice.
Thank you all for the advice. I really, really resonated with the advice to be kind, actually. I mean, I think that outside of acting even, it feels like, often you push yourself, you want to make sure that you make something better, but at the same time, you need to be kind because you're the biggest investment of your life, and you're your biggest lifelong ally. In any case, opening it up to the audience, who's got a question?
What about the technique that you chose, or the parts of the technique that you chose, make you think that it's the best one? Or how is it helpful for you?
For me, the Meisner technique really helped me to listen. That's one of the main things about the Meisner technique is listening, responding truthfully in the moment, and not creating the scene before you get there. You know what I'm saying? Like you have an idea of what you're doing, you have your actions, you know the circumstance, you know your objective, but you're not going in and I'm not, like, if I'm doing a scene with him, I'm not gonna come in with the scene, right? The scene happens when I meet him.
So in terms of techniques, I just learned method acting in Strasberg. I'm not much educated about other acting methods or techniques. That is one thing. Apart from that, it's very important that we know that who we are. For example, I chose acting. It took me a lot of time to make myself confident enough that yes, I can do acting. And that was the reason because I had these access of each feelings to up to extreme extent. Suppose if I'm sad, I was very sad. I'm happy, I'm very happy, and I'm confident. If I'm confident, I'm like, I can do anything in the world. And I feel those feelings, and then back in India, I was like, am I weak? Am I not good for anything because I have access of all these feelings and emotions? But when I started taking acting classes, they told me it's actually a gift if you can use that in acting, So try to learn what you have and use that in your acting process. Everyone has beautiful things. You have to explore inside yourself.
So when you talk about techniques, I don't think I've ever read about a technique that does not agree with another technique in some way. So, as Meisner says, in the moment, you're prepared to scene in your head. Similarly, Stanislavski says the same thing, which they based Meisner off, and Strasberg did the same thing too, Adler did the same thing too, Udahagen did the same thing too. So, all of them basically say the same thing, but in a different vocabulary. So, I would say if you have the time, study everything. If you have the time. If not, the easiest I'd say is Meisner, especially in camera acting. It helps a lot because when I studied Meisner, it helped me become very natural and calmer in my work. However, when I studied Adler, I felt it gave me a very good learning about my, me as a character walking in a very high stakes circumstances. Because at that point of time, I don't have a scene going on backstage, but I have to come off from a scene to a scene which is completely different, and I'm in a different state of being. So instead of faking it, kind of Adler taught me how to get the preview in. And if I talk about Strasberg, Strasberg taught me pretty much how to bring my complete self to the scene, including my whole life experience, consciously bringing it in the scene. And getting results that I'm unaware of, if that makes any sense.
Sorry, I just want to add one more thing, because there's a teacher in our school in Strasberg, his name is Jeffrey Hahn. So what I learned from him is like, listen to your grandfathers and grandma's story. That helps, as many stories as you can learn. You never know which character you're playing in your head when you're listening to those stories, and you can use in any of the scenes that you play in the future. So that's something that also helped me. So the teacher, he used to tell us so many stories in entire classes, And he's, I think, 92 years old now. Yeah, and he's still teaching in school. So he has a lot of, and every semester I took him just for this story.
Those are very beautiful answers, everyone. Yeah, I had a very old directing teacher once named Joan Horvath at NYU, and she was incredible. The most capable, learned person who had seen the industry evolve over the years, but actors remain the same, and the need to give voice to our stories through characters remained the same. And so every time she gave me a piece of wisdom, I still to this day have those. Questions? I guess I have a question. For you lovely people, how do you negotiate with a director, both when you are the director, you're trying to be both director and performer, but also when it's an external director? Like, is there conflict there? How do you resolve it in a way that feels creative and collaborative without withdrawal, without retreating?
If I feel like I'm receiving a direction that doesn't necessarily make sense in my mind, I'm gonna discuss that with the director. I'm always open to see, what that means to them, but also I wouldn't do something that would kind of go against what's happening in the scene if it doesn't equate.
It's more of a question.
So I've had experiences working with very extreme directors. One, as Cynthia said, are very collaborative, open to conversations, and like to talk about the scene, the film, whatever they're working on. And the other are very dictator types, and they really don't want to listen. They don't want your suggestion. They believe they understand the project completely, and they do in a sense. But as an actor, they hired you to bring yourself to the role and add something more, which is on paper right now. So I think the best way that has helped me approach it is I always listen to what they say, and if the room is not open for conversation, then I have to figure out a way to get what they want, but make it real for me and make it sense for the story as well. That's my job. So I'm not a person who would call out a director saying that they're a bad director or a rude director. I get that when I sign on a project, but we have to understand that, especially as we keep going up the ladder, it takes a lot of money to be on set every day, and sometimes we don't understand that. And being a director myself, I get that. That sometimes we cannot do a retake, and we have maybe 2 shots of the scene, and the actor did not feel it in that take, so it's bad on the actor's part to not have prepared it enough. So if my director tells me something that I do not agree with, I have to find a way to make it sense for myself and for him, something in the middle.
I just want to add on that. I can just add my point of view as an actor when I go to a set, and it might help everyone also, I think. When I go to a set, I feel like I'm the least important person on set. You have to follow everyone. You cannot say that, oh, I'm not, I'm not. I have done scenes when even I'm not feeling well. Because, as you said, it takes a lot to prepare a set. There are like many people who are working for one scene. So you have to respect that. You cannot say that, oh, I'm not ready yet. Like, until or unless it's extreme scenario. And don't keep your, I would say, ego on set in any ways. Like, least requirement, just be whatever you're told. Like, listen to everyone. You're the least important person on set. That's what I would say to every actor.
So I was just curious as to how you guys go about finding roles, and I suppose, are you always looking for the right role, or are you looking for anything that comes your way to get experience, and how much of getting a role is due to your connections and who you know, or whether a lot of it is submitting cold edition tapes and things like that, if you could speak about that.
A lot of it for me is submitting, self-submitting. So I will submit like daily, and then if I feel like I'm burning out, then I'll take a break. I've been taking breaks these days. But I try my best to self-submit on the casting platforms, Backstage, Actors Access. I look on Playbill too for theater. So, really try my best to put myself out there.
I think just auditions. Do as much as you can every week. And because, as you said, even if it's not a big project, you get to play some character and you meet some new people. I've done some short films which helped me to get another 2-3 short films because I meet people there. They're like, oh, you are a good fit for my maybe next short film as well. And then it's a chain, you make more people and you make more connections. So that's the best way, I think.
So I used to self-submit a lot on everything for like hours every day. But then, as I kept going on with my career, and I'm still going on with it, I realized, some projects do not fit me anymore. And I was just doing them because I wanted to be doing as many as I can. And once I was getting enough offers, I started filtering out, student films, short films. I wouldn't do a short film anymore unless it's somebody who I really want to, or I believe in the project. And now I've submitted to a lot of agents and managers, so they do all the work. And I just do the auditions they send me, and I don't do self-submissions anymore. But if you're starting out, Backstage, casting networks, Actors Access are gold mines for any actor who wants to put themselves out there, get some really nice footages for themselves so that they can later on pitch to these casting directors and agents and managers, because they all look for all that stuff, which is very, very important. And at this point, I'm not submitting anymore. I'm just auditioning whatever they send my way.
I have a question.
Yes, let me hand you the mic.
My question is a spin-off of his question, coming back to the directors and the collaboration. Excuse me. So, how good or bad it is to be a director's actor, in your opinion? Especially for you, Harsh, because you're also a director. Do you want an actor to be prepared, but at the same time, just leave their whole preparedness and follow completely into direction, or have their own ideas and have their own creativity in itself? What is it like for everyone?
I haven't directed yet. Maybe one day. But the last film set that I was in was for a student short. I ran through the scene, like, how do I explain it? Like I gave them a moment that they weren't expecting, and then I completed the scene all throughout, and they completely loved it. So some directors are really open to just like improvising, you know, throwing in a new line or playing a new action. Sometimes they really love that.
I'd say there's a very fine line in being a director's actor and still having your own personal choices in the scene. But again, I'd give you a very fine example that if you're an actor who goes on sets and tries to have a conversation with a director who does not want it, you get like Dharmendra said, the people get to know you and they call you a difficult actor to work with. So I've been that as well. And that's why I would say director's actor is a better way to keep working. And I would not say artistically it makes more sense, but a director's actor would definitely keep you in the loop, keep you working. That's why I say finding a middle ground is very important, where you can fulfill what they are asking for you, and at the same time bringing in what you believe the scene is, but trying to fix it a little bit for their liking, and without losing too much of your own direction of the scene. That's why having your own instincts refined from training is very important, because then you have the right instincts about a scene, and 99% of the time they would make sense for the director as well.
So I would say just maybe just for now, just be a director's actor because you're beginning your career. But when you become famous and when you become known in the industry, then you choose your directors and project wisely. You don't have to be a director's actor all the time.
How would you recommend that an actor goes about finding an agent or a manager, and what qualities do you think an agent or a manager should have?
So first, the qualities of agents and managers. Agents and managers are two different creatures. Agents like to have you when your stock price is up, while managers are willing to bet you when you're at the lowest. So I think as a starting actor, having a manager is comparatively easier, because managers usually take a bigger cut than agents, so they're ready to bet on people who they feel are driven but do not have as many projects. However, agents, even if they love you, they would not take you in unless they feel they can make money off you. So they really want an actor who has a lot of good credits. By good credits, I've been told, well, you have a lot of film credits, but we don't know any of them because they were mostly independent films. So they need to know the projects. They need to know the people on your resume. If they don't know, a good agent would not trust you. So that's the biggest difference between an agent and manager. However, a manager is more personalized to your demands career-wise. So they listen to what kind of work you want to do, and they make sure that you progress. While an agent mostly sees you as a product they're trying to sell, a manager basically guides you through your career. Kind of like when I got my manager, the first thing they told me, I was getting paid to do a commercial background, and it was very good money, like way too good money to even believe for a commercial background. She said, it's really good money, it's decent product, but we're not gonna see you. You're gonna be in the background. They're paying you money because they want you tomorrow on set, and they need somebody desperately, but it's not a good thing to have on your profile at this stage anymore. So I had to say goodbye to the project. But luckily, in the next 3 days, she got me something even bigger, which paid 3 times more. So I was like, okay, I believe you, I trust in you. So that's the basic difference. I feel a manager, you can have more conversation. Like I have a lot of emails with my managers, which they respond to. Agents don't like doing that for some reason. They feel like it's a one-way conversation. Only they can send emails, and they don't like responding because they have too much work apparently. So that's the major difference I've felt so far. However, when I say how to get them, is I think it used to be early on that we used to call people to, pre-COVID, we used to call them to productions and send them tapes. Now nobody comes to productions anymore. You can call everybody in New York City. Yeah, nobody will show up for free. Nobody. And I've done that 2 years of my life, wasted so many invitations. Nobody ever shows up. So the best way to, and they never even reply to emails. That's also out. So they don't like cold emails. No casting director likes cold emails anymore. No agents, no managers. So the best way to reach out to them is look out for them on One-on-One, which is a website where you can actors get to meet their managers and agents in their classes, or on Actors Connection. And that's where I keep meeting different managers and agents and casting directors and try to, you perform for them, you do a scene or monologue for them, you have a chat, and you talk about what work you have done, what you aspire to do. If they really like you, then they send you stuff and you get signed on. So that's how it happened for me, and that's the only way right now that I know works to kind of get on board with either of those.
Yeah, I think I've covered almost everything. But just one thing, it's very rare though, but sometimes try to be careful about scams when you submit through emails. Something happened to my friend, so that experience was not good. So just be careful when you, not all the time, but very rare. So careful about that.
I just want to add that cold emails do sometimes work if they catch you at the right time and you have the right materials and things like that. They might, take a chance on you. There's also showcases that some schools do. That's another way to get an agent manager. And through a referral, you have a good friend. Those are sensitive though, you gotta be careful.
For all three of you, have you ever felt that you were not correct for a role? Like you were cast in the role, everyone was ready, and you internally as an actor had doubt? And if so, how did you reckon with that doubt? And obviously, if it never happened to you, then forget I asked the question.
I don't think it's happened for me that I can. Hello? Oh. I don't think it's happened that I can recall, honestly.
Yeah, same with me. Never happened with me. Even though if I'm casted in something and if somebody has a doubt, I feel that there's nobody better than me who can do that.
Every commercial I've ever done, I have been wrongly casted. I'm not a commercial. I'm sure if you have seen any commercial auditions, the breakdowns, they ask you to do these weird things and stuff that doesn't make sense that they even need videos for, but I don't know if they ask for it, so you gotta do it in your own house with nothing, but you have to act like, I don't know, you're doing cheerleading stuff for people. I don't know, it's weird. Commercial auditions usually take me off. I hate them. They pay good money, so I do them. And that's the only time I feel like I'm not right for this part, but at this point of my career, I need to do them. But if I talk about films and stuff like on the legit side, I used to feel very miscast when I was not clear about my way of working, of my techniques, and not confident about my work every time. Even if I was making my own film and I was the lead, I would be like, oh, that's a mistake, I'm not good for it. And I think that was more about being underconfident about my work. But over the years, as you keep going, you realize, you stop giving any, pardon my French folks, but stop giving any thought to that, like, are you good, are you not? Because when you've done a certain amount of work, you feel very confident about certain roles and then you can do them. So early on, yes, I had this imposter syndrome. I don't have anymore.
Good advice. And Harsh, I wanted to chime in. I've often been on the other end of commercial castings, and it is, it's maddening, I can imagine, as an actor, that you're asked to say a slogan, you're asked to say the 2 lines that you have, and how can someone be picked authentically from this? And yet sometimes, like magic, it happens, and you nail the commercial, and the commercial is just something like, oh wow, that's actually like a fun little ad that, all my friends smile at when they see it on YouTube.
Great. Well, if nobody has any more questions, that wraps up our panel. A big thank you to all our panelists. We really appreciate you coming in, talking to us, aspiring actors. And yeah, thank you so much for coming to the Big Apple Film Festival.
Thank you so much for having us.